We're going to go ahead now and start with our profiles app. So we're going to run python manage.py start app, and we're going to call this profiles. We're going to start off by creating our templates directory, and inside there we will have profiles, and we're just going to create the pages we're going to be using, which is going to be our profile.html. So for this one, we are going to be able to both automatically create our profile, we're going to be able to edit our profile, and we're going to be able to view the profile. So there is only going to be one page, but we will have two views. So to get started, we'll go and register our new profile app in our settings.py installed apps so that the rest of the application knows it exists. The next thing we're going to do is create our model. So we're going to import everything that we're going to need. So we're going to import our DJ rich text field. We're also going to make some imports to create our profile. So we're going to import from django.contrib.auth.models. We're going to need the user model. We're going to import some signals. So from django.db.models.signals, import postsave, and we will also import dispatch receiver. So from Django dispatch import receiver. Now don't panic, I will explain what these are in a few minutes. We will also import our Django resized for our profile images. And we'll go ahead and create our class. So this will be profile, and it's going to be of models model. So we're going to have very few fields for this one. So we're going to have a user field as always, so that we can relate our profile to our user, which is going to be a foreign key as it's related to the user model. We're going to give it a related name of profile. We're going to give it an onDelete of models.cascade. So if we delete our user model, the profile will also get deleted. We're going to give it an image, and this is going to be our resized image field. So this time the parameters we're going to give it are 300 by 300. We're going to give it a quality of 75. We're going to give it an upload path, so upload to, and this time we're going to upload to the profiles folder. We're going to force format into our WebP so that we have a next gen format and using the lowest file size that we can, and we're going to say blank equals false. The last field that we're going to need then is our bio field, and that is going to be our rich text field. So we're going to give this one a max length of 2,500 characters, and we'll allow this one to be null and blank. We'll then define our string function with a parameter of self, and we're going to return the string of our self.user. The next thing that we want to do is we're going to create the receiver I was talking about. So when a user signs up to the website, we want their profile to automatically get created. It will save any unnecessary stress of trying to code the views to check if it exists and create one if it doesn't exist. So we're going to use a decorator this time. So we're going to use the receiver decorator. So I can't spell. It's I before E except after C, of course. So we're going to pass in post save this time, and we're going to pass in a sender of user. So if we hover over this receiver, you can see it tells us that it's a decorator for connecting receivers to signals. Okay, so signals are just a way to send a message to another part of the application and tell it to do something, and then the receiver is obviously where it's going. So for us this time, we are sending, so when the user model has something saved, which is our post save, so when a user is created and saved, we want this receiver function to be called. So we'll go ahead now and actually create our function, and this will be called create user profile. So we're going to pass in an instance created and quarks. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to check if the created was passed into our function. Okay, so if that's true and it was created, then we're going to pull our profile objects and we're going to say create, and our user is going to be the instance of the user that has just been created. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead again and I'm just going to format my code because I've been absolutely terrible at that. So I'm going to run the Python module black, and I'm going to run that on my profiles directory. I'm now going to go ahead and run the command to make our migrations because we want to get our model ready for use. So that's going to create our instructions file for our new model. So now in our migrations file we have our initial migration. So then we'll go ahead and actually migrate it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to register it in the admin.py so that we're able to see it in our back end. So in here we're going to need to import the model. So that's our new profile model, and then I'm going to create a class of profile admin and admin.modeladmin. I'm going to give it a list display and specify I want to see the primary key, the user, the bio, and the image. Then going to use the admin.site.register function to pass in the profile and the profile admin. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new super user. You might not need to do this, but I wiped my database between the last series of this and now, so I need to create a new one. So we'll go ahead then and kick up our run server and go and have a look in the admin panel and make sure everything's okay with our model. So again, no panic, I don't have any recipes because I cleared out the database. So I'm going to go log in with my super user, and now we can see our profile. So we can see here that my receiver worked as when I created my user and that was saved, it automatically created my profile. Now because your profile was created before, unless you've also cleared out your database, you won't have a user profile. So in order to go and test that and actually view everything, you're probably going to need to come in here, click add profile and manually create your profile. Or you may encounter some errors later. So that concludes our profile model, and in the next video we'll go ahead and get started with the views.